The altcoin market is seeing a strong bounce back on the week after a pretty rough June and beginning of July as a whole. So in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, I want to discuss 3 altcoins specifically that I believe will see some nice moves for the rest of the month. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So hopping right in here to spot number 1, we are going to be talking about Solana. Now, Solana here has been one of the biggest winners of the bull run. In fact, if we take a look here at its performance over the past year, it's up about 466%. And you can see here that it actually bottomed in and around I believe it bottomed around, the $9 to $8 range, currently sitting at $153 per token, topped out at about $200 earlier this year in March. And we can clearly see, just based on the price action so far, that the market has really solidified Solana as a leading layer 1 in the space. A lot of people are launching new tokens on the chain. A lot of them are meme coins, but it has to do with just how easy it is to launch a token, how fast and efficient the blockchain is, and how easy it is for new users to actually join the ecosystem with the Phantom wallet and more. So Solana definitely has solidified itself as one of the biggest winners and one of the biggest layer 1s. And we can also see that from an institutional level that they are also paying attention to Solana, as we saw that both VanEck and 21 Shares submitted their S1 filings to basically get approved for a Solana ETF. So CBOE has confirmed 2 asset managers' plans to launch a Solana-based exchange-traded fund. Once the SEC acknowledges the receipt of the filing, a 240-day window opens for the regulator to approve or deny the products. So here is a quote from Rob Morocco, global head of listings at CBOE Global Markets. He says, after successfully listing in the first U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs on our exchange and securing SEC approval for our rule filings to list spot Ether ETFs, we are now addressing the increasing investor interest in Solana, one of the most actively traded cryptocurrencies after Bitcoin and Ether. And I mean, if we take a look at CoinMarketCap here, I think it kind of makes sense that Solana is next in line. You could definitely make the argument that BNB token should have been next as the 4th largest by market cap. We're not including Tether, obviously, because that's just like holding US dollars for the most part. But Solana here with 71 billion in market cap, the 5th largest cryptocurrency here, as well as one of the biggest, just making headlines, getting new user adoption through easy onboarding with the Phantom wallet. It's a fast chain to use, so a lot of people like that when compared to other chains like Ethereum. And I do think that, just because the market is forward looking, right, we know that it could take up to 240 days for any actual approval from the SEC. But just the fact that there is this institutional interest, given the fact that the market is forward looking, we could see the Solana price action actually move in advance of this potential ETF approval. And that's why we have Solana sitting at spot number 3 on this list. Now, from a technical perspective as well, one thing I am noticing with this token is that we've actually seen a really clean bounce here off of the 120 area of support. So, if we go back to the previous bull market, 120 acted as support here in, let me get rid of this right here. This was back in September of 2021 before it ran up all the way to 250. It acted as resistance here in the bear market. It kind of poked back above, and then, after hitting at about 133, came back down to those lows at about $8, give or take $8.50. Now, in this bull run, we saw 120 act as resistance back here in December, January of 2023 and 2024. And then here on the breakout above 120, we saw Solana just make its run right up to $200. So the fact that we actually bounced off of 120 here like multiple times on the weekly candle, are now back in the bull market support band zone, looking like it potentially wants to break out above it. That is why we do have Solana at spot number 3. So taking a look at spot number 2, I do want to talk about the Render token. This is a token that was on the Ethereum chain, is actually pretty soon making its way over to the Solana chain. And the one upcoming catalyst for this altcoin that I am keeping an eye on is RNP11. Now, RNP11 is set to be one of the biggest proposals for the Render network if it passes. Effectively, what they are looking to do is create 1 billion 3D assets for model training for AI and content creation use cases, large language models, language data sets. And we saw this announcement actually come back in March. However, there was a post here on Twitter from the Render Network chat that on July 20th, we are expecting an announcement here. It was asked, can you possibly dedicate a few minutes to us and maybe give an update on RNP11? Would be much appreciated. And he says, it'll be the new shelling team. That being Shelling AI over here, working on giving that big update for the 20th of July. So just 5 days away. Now, just for some context, if you're not too familiar with the Render Network, it is basically a decentralized GPU rendering platform. Through offering a blockchain marketplace for idle GPU compute, people can actually tap into the Render Network for different basic rendering and AI use cases. And then the people who are contributing this GPU power are paid out in Render tokens. Now, additionally, one of the things looking to be introduced with RNP11 is the potential for staking. And the way this would work is that buyers are licensing the data in Render tokens for this 3D asset, basically, model training base that they are looking to create, or this data set rather. And Render nodes are participating in the asset creation and storage. Buyers interested in using the data set, this 1 billion 3D assets for the model training, will pay exclusively in Render on the network, and users will have the option to stake Render and then receive rewards from nodes who generate the training revenue. So buyers are licensing the data in Render, stakers are staking with nodes and then receiving a portion of that licensing revenue. Generally speaking, the ability to stake and generate passive income from any altcoin is pretty bullish in my opinion, and I do think that if that's the announcement we get, or if that's the update we see on the 20th, it could act as a very positive catalyst for the price action. Now, taking a look at Render as well here on the chart, one thing I'm noticing with this token is it actually did come back down really close to its 200-week moving average. And you can actually see here, if we take a look, nope, that's not it either. Sorry, guys, I don't know what. Yeah, sorry, that's the 50-week, not the 200-week. You're going to notice here that it actually did come pretty close to bouncing off of the 50-week. It also came back pretty close to a key area of support at the $5.30 range, which acted as resistance here in early 2024. And then, boom, as soon as a Render actually broke above that $5.30 level in early February, it ran 150% up, basically into early March. And it over doubled, right? Like this thing went from $5.30 up to $13.60, give or take, in a month after that breakout. So Render came close to back testing. It did not quite back test it here, but it did come down pretty close. And now what I'm looking at for the upside, given that we do see a potentially bullish announcement coming out on the 20th, would just be a retest of the $8.80 area of resistance. This is important because it is the previous all-time high back in 2021, and breaking above or below previous all-time highs do tend to be pretty important for the price action historically. So that's what I'm taking a look at when it comes to Render, and this upcoming announcement on July 20th is the reason that it comes in at spot number 2 on this list. Coming in at spot number 1, it is not the most exciting option, but it's definitely one that I do think needs to be addressed, is Ethereum. Okay, we spoke about the Solana ETF and the potential for that to be coming soon, and I do think that if we're going to talk about that we do also have to talk about the potential for an Ethereum ETF, as it was actually tentatively approved a while back. However, we have not yet seen them launch on the stock market. So we are seeing whispers here from analysts that ETF approvals could begin this week, and some of them are even predicting that we could see up to $10 billion billion in new inflows following the launch, which could potentially lead Ethereum to hit some new all-time highs later this year. Now, will that happen? Nobody knows for sure, but the same way that the Bitcoin spot ETF acted as a positive catalyst for the price action, I do believe the same kind of thing would occur with Ethereum. Both from a narrative perspective, the fact that the institutions are coming into Ethereum and looking to invest money into the ecosystem and into funds, and also from a fundamental perspective, because it just means that more inflows are going to be coming into Ethereum. And you have to factor in that Bitcoin has a lot more market capitalization than Ethereum, right? So billions of dollars in Ethereum, $10 billion in Ether would be more significant than $10 billion going into Bitcoin at these current values. And the one thing that I do also kind of want to keep in mind is the fact that I don't expect to see as much volume or interest in the Ether ETF as the Bitcoin one saw. However, I do think that, as the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, the largest DeFi ecosystem, that there will be demand for that Ethereum ETF, and that it will help push that price to the upside. And we can also see here that the key level on Ethereum to watch is that 4,000 level, acted as resistance back in 2021 before breaking out to new highs. Once again here, getting rejected twice in 2023 and in 2024. Actually, both these rejections were in 2024. So, we did see here that it did get rejected twice at that level. Now, similarly to 2021, we actually saw a breakout on the third time, and I'm not saying that the same thing will happen, but if history does repeat, these are not the exact same move, because we saw a much larger pullback here in 2021 than we did see here in 2024. However, if we see a similar pattern kind of play out where Ethereum tries to break 4K, gets rejected, tries again, gets rejected, and then on the third time it breaks out, we could potentially see Ether make its run up to new highs, maybe like mid to late this year, and potentially even try to make a run for that $5,000 level. So will it happen? Who knows? But I do think that it is worth keeping an eye on the upcoming catalyst for Ethereum, and that is why it comes in at spot number 1 on this list. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.